looking back, I would have done the same thing over. He did not develop the way he should have, and now they're in a situation where they're just going to my bigger problem now is why is he even playing? He's not going to be here. We know that. Why is he playing right now? What's the point? Joe Starkey told me today he thinks they're trying to lose and tank, and so therefore they're putting him out there. But, they're going to probably win tonight, it looks like, against a team they're battling for a draft position. Why does Gregory Polanco need to play? They have nobody out there who can come out and play outfield right now?
Well, if they're battling the Diamondbacks for draft position, wouldn't winning tonight actually be losing to the Diamondbacks in the battle for draft position if you're trying to get pick one, round one? The Orioles are, by the way, the 27 Yankees when it comes to losing right now, so they appear to have gotten a stranglehold on that number one pick for the time being, at least. I can't give you a good answer, though. I really can't. I mean, there's got to be somebody else they can trot out there. At this point, I think the thing about seeing him out there on a night-to-night basis is, and maybe he doesn't feel this way, maybe some fans don't, too. I think there's a large subset of Pirates fans that really do have a soft spot for the person here, if not the player. I think it's almost cruel to him if he's struggling, if he continues to struggle to this degree. I mean, there is no upside. He has zero future. It almost feels unpleasant to watch him continue to flail. So I don't have a good answer for you other than what Joe told you, which is that maybe they're not exactly, or this is their tacit way of saying, yes, we are not necessarily putting our best 8-man roster out on the field behind whoever's pitching on a given night.
Well, they had Shishugo batting first. He's not exactly a first hitter yesterday in the lineup. We'll see. Let's go out to Dave in Banksville. Dave, how you doing tonight? Welcome to the show.
Hey, Bob and Chris. You kind of took some of what I was going to ask, but I always think, Bob, you have one of the best opinions. What I don't understand is how they let Gregory Polanco go, which means they put him on waivers, and which he knew he wasn't going to probably get picked up, and he wasn't going to report to the minors, which would have meant we would have to eat the $2+ million. Why would you not? To me, he's a cancer to this team, and you get rid of cancer. Why would you not try to bring up? There's got to be somebody in the minor leagues, and I know they don't like to start the clock, but there's got to be somebody whose clock is already started that would have more talent.
How is he a cancer to the team?
Yeah, he's not a cancer. That's the wrong word.
How is he that?
Well, maybe that's not the word, but if he's the longest tenured player on the team, so people look up to him.
But he's well respected. I mean, cancer indicates someone who's not willing to do anything.
Yeah, the guys. The thing here is that Gregory Polanco, management will tell you, the field managers, everybody that's involved will say that yes, obviously it's a do as I say, not as I do. When you're Gregory Polanco, don't emulate me on the field or in the batter's box. But I hear nothing but positive reports about the guy's day-to-day professionalism. The way he carries himself, despite the fact that he has just had a wretched season and that his Pirates star has fallen to the point now where it doesn't exist. They all say that, from a character perspective, Gregory Polanco is everything you would want in a guy on a major league team.
Yeah, and I totally agree with that. So there's no reason to think he's that way. He's a struggling player right now, and that doesn't help them, but what are you going to do? I think it's what Chris said is true. I think it's embarrassing sometimes to watch, and it puts him through all of this. I thought really the Pirates wanted to have someone pick him up, someone take the last month of his salary, whatever the case, and that's just not going to happen. So they're going to be stuck with him, and this is the way it's going to be moving forward. But I still don't think they should play him. I don't care if they think, well, he's on the roster, we have to get our money's worth. You're not getting your money's worth anyway, so forget that. That ship has sailed. Let's go out to JB in Squirrel Hill. JB, what's up?
Hey, you there?
Go ahead.
Yeah, hey, I'm calling about, Chris Archer. So first they fleece us for our two best prospects.
3.
Then he goes down there and he's good again because they have great coaching, and ours is the worst ever. What is going on, Pomp?
Well, first of all, they got fleeced. You're absolutely right. For whatever reason, they just bowed to the pressure of making a deal, which at the time I understood. I didn't necessarily like them throwing in Shane Baz. That was my one problem with that because, Chris, if you remember, Glasnow had really struggled there. Every time they brought him up, you wondered what he was going to do. Now, Austin Meadows is another story. I saw some upside there, but I felt at the time that I understood it. I didn't like Baz, though. That was the one thing when they threw that name in there, I thought, now you get a little bit. I never thought it turned out to be this bad, but it's this bad.
It's funny that we talked about Gregory Polanco because, yes, to the caller's point, to JB's point, Tampa does just do just about everything better as far as getting the most out of their players. Meadows, the inclusion of him in that deal infuriated me because they were picking Corey Dickerson, like a solid but very unspectacular player, over Austin Meadows, and that made me just seethe at the time. Even though I wanted the deal to get done because it was exciting that they had thrust themselves back into the race. But as far as the coaching goes, to go back to Polanco here, it's funny. The one time Gregory Polanco looked like he was finally finding something as a major leaguer, his season ended a couple of years ago very prematurely because he apparently had not been properly coached on how to slide into second base, or he was playing with all the grace of Bambi on ice out there. I mean, that play is a microcosm of some of the problems that have afflicted them as a franchise for the last several years, if not longer. But yes, if you want to relitigate the Archer trade and complain about it some more, I guess I'm all ears because I was one of the dopes that supported it at the time.
Let's go out to line 2. That's Kirk in Harmer. Kirk, what's up?
Hi, Bob. How you doing?
Good. What's going on?
Oh, Bob, it's an anomaly, but when that rare occurrence does happen, I apologize when I'm wrong. And last year I told you in a heated argument in Week 8 that the Steelers didn't need a running game. And you kept saying, yeah, they do. And, well, 3 weeks later they collapsed. And, you know, the story as it goes, but looking at this game that they played this Sunday against Detroit, wow, you were right. They need a running game.
Listen,
that balance
we haven't
needs to be put forth, and they look sharp and good again.
They haven't necessarily established it yet. They're going to try to, and hopefully they will. My whole point, you know, Chris, we get caught up in how the NFL is right now. It's a passing league. Everyone knows that. But you can't pass the ball 70% of the time. You can't. You have to have something that makes the passing game work. You see it in Baltimore, Chubb and Hunt, especially Chubb. It's the result of his running that gives Baker Mayfield and makes him a better quarterback. It makes everyone better, I think. So that's all it was. They can't pass the ball, and hopefully they won't pass the ball that many times this year. They shouldn't have to.
Well, they were too predictable with the pass in general. They passed it at times when they maybe should have actually been running it. They weren't keeping defenses on their toes. I mean, really, predictability is the word I keep coming back to last year. Every time it was going to be a short throw right into the teeth of a defense that was expecting it. You can get away with passing it a lot. In a lot of cases, you should. If you have a great quarterback, you're doing yourself a disservice as a franchise not to throw the ball. The Steelers took it to a laughable extreme, and Ben Roethlisberger is not on the level of the Rodgers and Mahomes of the world anymore. So that made it a doubly bad idea.
All right, time for the tweet of the day, brought to you by Tri-State Office Furniture. And this is a sad one, Chris. I'm sure you saw this today because it was a sudden death and a tragic death here. The Penguins put this out because Jimmy Hayes spent time with Wilkes-Barre Scranton, and they were deeply saddened to learn of the passing at age 31. And the organization sends thoughts and prayers to the Hayes family. It is really sad. You have a young child. I have grandkids now, and you know, he had a 2-year-old, or I think a 2-year-old and a 3-month-old. That's just as tragic as they come. There was no word on what actually happened there, but regardless, it's a tragic loss, and we send our condolences to the Hayes family, all of them. And we'll take a break. On that note, come back with more of your calls right here on Pittsburgh CW.